What fanfic did you read? I read everything. There was a lot of stuff that I read. Whatever show or game I was watching or game I was playing at the time, I would always just be like, huh, let's see what the fandom is like. Let's see what kind of stuff that they write. Persona fanfics? Ironically enough, I never read any sort of Persona fanfics. Favorite fanfic? The one that I recall, whenever I think of fanfics, like off the top of my head, I remember one. It was a crossover fanfic between Higurashi and Suzumiya Haruhi no Yutsu. It was called The Kraiso of Haruhi Suzumiya. It was basically the SOS gang from Haruhi going to Hinamizawa and a lot of stuff happening there. And the story structure was very... It was very faithful to how things usually go with various Higurashi arcs. So it was very fun to read and follow along with. Were you ever traumatized by any of them? No, not at all. I'm trying to think of things that have actually traumatized me. And I can't really think of anything. The thing with me is, like, violence, such things, like violence in, like, fiction or, like gore or anything like that doesn't really faze me. So a lot of things I'm just sort of shrug off. That's why whenever I go into a movie that is, like, supposedly, like, violent or anything, I never have to be careful because there's never anything that'll set me off. The only things that have, like, traumatized me, or, like, I wouldn't even call it traumatizing, but things that, like, shook me up was, like, when I watched scary things as a kid. And a lot of them weren't even supposed to be scary. Young Ike, and I've told this story before, but young Ike actually got scared by a Wallace and Gromit movie, Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
A bit of gorgonzola.
I actually got nightmares from that. Why are a lot of people saying valid? It's not valid. There's nothing really scary about that movie, but for some reason it freaked me out. When I was watching it, I wasn't freaked out by it. Like, I just thought it was a regular movie like any other thing. But it was only when I was going to bed that I realized that, oh my god, I'm having nightmares. What would you do when you get nightmares? I would turn on every single light in my room and turn on an audiobook. That way it's not quiet and it's not dark, and eventually I'll fall asleep. I remember seeing a really old clip. I think it was two parents that pulled a very mean prank on their two boys because they apparently stayed up later than when they were supposed to, and watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So when the parents came home and found them, they were sleeping in the same bed, and all the lights were turned on. So the dad, like the great parent he is, goes and gets a creepy mask, grabs an actual chainsaw, and revs it, like starts it to, like, wake the boys up. And they just fly away and, like, roll out of bed in like, panic. Obviously, they realize right away what's going on. But you can hear one of them standing up and just asking, "What's wrong with you?" And which I think is a very valid question. Like, why do that to your kids? Did he at least take the chain off? I don't know. It was recorded on, like, an old video camera, so I couldn't see. Sounds like a good parent. It also sounds like a very dad thing to do. You know when you think about something and you're just like, yeah, that's a very dad thing to do. That's one of those things.